Coach, what do you like about this roster that you've got?
I like we got good versatility. We've got really good size. Obviously, you guys know Austin Nichols, who brings good size to our ball club. We're impressed with where he is today, and we look forward to him getting better and better. We tell him it's a one-day step with him. The only expectations is I want him to come in every day and work hard. So we've got good size. We've got some really good young players. Kobe Simmons, I think you guys know in a short period of time has shown that he's capable of playing not only at this level, but at the NBA level in time. He's got to get stronger. He's got to be more consistent defensively, and I want him to push the ball. We've got Vince Hunter, who's played in the G/D League, who knows he's very familiar with the league. So he brings a little bit of experience to our ball club this upcoming season. So I like that portion of it. And, we've got some wings that I'm looking to see how they're going to be in camp. TB, I think you guys are familiar with him, played here at University of Memphis. I've known him since his days at Lee College, so I've got a pretty good feel for him. So I like our roster. I'm just kind of ready to get started. We've got a variety of guys. We've got Dusty Hannons trying out, played at University of Arkansas. So I kind of like where we are today. But, come tomorrow, if you ask me tomorrow, I might have a different opinion.
Coach, you got Austin on the team.
Yeah.
Of course, you had the connection with him at Memphis.
Yeah.
Talk about getting him back to where you want him to be and to where he wants to be as a player to possibly try to make an NBA run.
Yeah, well, it's a day-to-day deal. I mean, we all know the first time I saw Austin freshman, sophomore year, he had NBA skill level. I mean, NBA talent. I'm not surprised, but he's made his progression the last couple of months have been really phenomenal, and that's all the work he's done. He's put in a lot of time, a lot of work. So, again, for him, it's just day-to-day. It's the expectations are very low. I know what you guys are saying. I know what he's thinking. But for me, I think he's going to realize that, G League is a little more competitive than you think. There's a lot of guys fighting for positions, and so I think he's going to be a little bit surprised. But for him, I think he's going to be a great player for us.
For a guy like him that he didn't play basketball the last couple seasons, is the expectation that he'll be game ready for you guys immediately, or will the process be a little slower than that?
Well, we're going to take it slow with him, and which is good for him. Again, the expectations, it's not for me to tell Austin you're going to get double-doubles every night. That's not what this is about. It is a development league. He's got to learn how to play at the NBA level, and this is what it is. It's not college basketball. It's not high school. There's a 24-second clock. He's got to play at a different pace. The physicality is still, it's a lot of strong guys, tough guys out there. So it's going to take him some getting used to, too. I mean, you can't say I'm going to play you 30 minutes. I mean, it's going to take him some time to get where he needs to be.
What are your thoughts on Burrell coming in?
TB, I think you guys know a little bit about his game. He's a wing player. He's, when he's got it going offensively, he's as good as a lot of guys. The Grizz kind of looked at him prior to him coming in here. We had him in for workouts. So we know he's got some talent and skill level, but to play for me, he's going to have to be a two-way player. And when we made the trade, I made the phone call to him. Obviously, we had a prior relationship. I said to him, shooting the ball is good, offensively is great. I say, but if you play for me, you got to learn how to defend at a high level. And those are the things, again, all these guys want to be called up. My goal as a development coach is to try to get every guy on our roster called up. I mean, that's what it's about, and or prepare these guys for the Grizzlies roster potentially. So, but to do that, he's got to be a two-way guy for me.
Fizz made the comment at the end of the preseason when he had several guys on the court at the same time who were fighting for those last roster spots, that, he could see there were times when, they weren't necessarily connected as you would want them to be because just of the human element. You are fighting for a roster spot. That's kind of the deal the whole time in a minor league, right? So how do you combat that? How do you get guys to play in a connected way when everybody truthfully is kind of out there for themselves at some level?
Well, and again, last spring I took over the Iowa Energy team and I ran into that. The big thing I'll talk about today in the team meeting is environment. It's not necessarily about numbers. There's just certain things you have to bring to a team. If you go from a G League team to an NBA roster, it's not about points and rebounds all the time. And we were very fortunate this spring where we got Troy Williams called up. He went to the Rockets, and we had Wayne Selden get called up. And it was more about because they became team players, trusted what we were saying to them, And they became just two-way guys that competed, that understood if I'm going to make a roster spot, there's a certain way I have to play, and it's the right way.
When you talk about getting teams ready, you know, this is like the minor league situation, more or less like the Redbirds. These guys want to be someplace else rather than right here. What do you say to the fans in Memphis and South Haven come out to the games about, okay, I want to win, but I've got to develop these guys first, but we're still going to try to win?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, we all want to win, and, you know, you're going to run into situations where I'm going to have to play guys through certain situations, whether they're playing good or bad, whether it's in the game situations or put them in situations where, you know, last second shots or pick and roll situations. We want to win every game. It's not necessarily about winning. We're going to try to win and compete every game. I will say the roster is going to be fluid. I mean, there's going to be times where we're going to have some Grizz guys there. There may be some guys who's injured who may be playing on our roster. Maybe some game time decisions. There were times last season where, you know, we'd have a shoot around and boom, we'd get the call after shoot around and 2 or 3 guys were gone. That's just the way the G League is. So, but I think it's going to be exciting. It'll be exciting to see the progression of these guys. And, you know, I've said it time and time again, it's DeSoto County's team, it's Memphis' team. So it's you know, just going to be exciting brand of basketball.
What
How
did
much
you
have you
learn
been out?
last year? What did you learn?
That it is the roster is fluent, that, you know, it changes day to day. I think you guys asked the question, you know, these guys, trying to get these guys to play together and play at a high level, and just knowing that, you know, it's a day-to-day deal.
The
How
talent
much have you
level
had
impress you, though, last year?
It did. I mean, shoot, we had Ben Gordon, you know, who obviously we all know who he is. We had Blair, big Blair played with the Spurs. I mean, so, you know, I think I saw Kendrick Perkins' name on somebody's roster. So we'll be playing against some talented guys. And, again, I think the fans will be surprised how good the players are that's vying for NBA rosters.
How much have you been out in the community in DeSoto County, and what's kind of the reception down there?
I think it's been phenomenal. I've been out a lot. You know, obviously we're talking about, you know, selling season tickets all the time, and we'll do a lot of charity stuff over there. Again, we want that county and people there locally to know that this is their team.
Coach, you're talking about this being a developmental team, and of course you're developing for the Grizzlies right now, being part of that that lineup. You know, how much did that play into who you picked in selecting this training camp roster? Who you felt could get into the Memphis system?
No, that was huge. That's a great question. It was huge. I mean, you look at our roster. You know, we brought in some wings, some really good wings who potentially could be vying for a spot going forward. We talked about Austin. There may be times we get, you know, we may get Ivan Rabb down here. So yeah, that was a big deal. And you know, with Kobe, you know, we had Kobe. We wanted some competition around him. Marcus Teague, who we brought in, is going to be a phenomenal player for us. He's going to bring good leadership to Kobe, and so that was a big part of it.
Coach, you had a couple guys from the local trial make the team. What did those guys do that impressed you to kind of make them a part of this roster?
They did exactly what we said. You know, play unselfish, play the right way, don't look to score, and we're excited to have those guys, and they're going to have a legit chance to make this team.
We've seen Andrew Wade, the point guard position with the Grizzlies, kind of grow at that developmental level. What do you need to see from Kobe, and how much does his youth play into his development? Because only that 1 year in college, obviously, he's got a lot of balls still in front of him.
Right, and he's going to have to play with physicality. He knows that the game is, you know, much more physical at this level. He's got to play better at pace. Everything is just not quick and fast at the NBA level. He's got to shoot it better, but more importantly, he's got to compete on the defensive end, and I'll be on his butt daily, getting him to compete on the defensive end.
The challenge of coaching two-way players brings a whole different element to your team. It's already tough to coach at the minor league level, but these guys kind of have one foot in and out of both Memphis and the hustle. Do you have a plan to combat that? How is that kind of just juggling that challenge with those two players?
I'm not that concerned. Vince Hunter is a professional. He's been around the league. He knows how to play. You know, I expect him to bring it every day. I mean, hopefully he's one of my team captains. He knows what I expect of him. I had him in the summertime, so he knows it. You know, I'm excited to have him. There's no question about that. And Kobe, I mean, I think Kobe's going to figure out that if his development is important, but he's got to develop here at this level first before he can move up.